What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video. Let's go.
Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had a huge impact on the NBA.
Most definitely.
One could even argue that they made the league what it is today.
You crazy. I said, you crazy. I'm not shooting no commercial with Larry.
So if there's one thing you can't argue about in basketball, it's that Johnson and Bird are the most important figures in NBA history.
Facts.
Before these two, basketball was a sport. After, it was a religion.
Shout out to Samuel Jackson, man.
The game has definitely changed. There's no denying that. But let's be damn sure we never forget that these two are the guys who changed it.
Okay, I know y'all think I'm skipping over a lot of GOATs for this argument, but just hear me out. Before these two became the iconic duo that they were, the NBA was a very different place. These guys paved the path for even the average player to earn millions in the game. Before these two came along,
They had to take the less of an income to pave the way for individuals to have millions of dollars as it is. Even when I heard Gilbert Arenas say it wasn't making nowhere near what the players making now. Coming off the bench, $10 million, $11 million.
average salary for an NBA player was $200,000.
Ain't
I'm
nothing.
not gonna lie, those are
Just imagine when taxes eat that up. $200,000.
pennies compared to what players are earning these days. And we owe it all to Bird and Johnson for making the game exciting enough to get paid the big bucks.
Keep the game the way you found it, and it can go on for generations to come. Thank you.
The great said it. The great. And I felt like the game of basketball, in regards of the excitement, isn't what it is today. Isn't what it is then. It's not what it is today as it was then. I feel like the coverage is not the same. The ESPN doing it, in my opinion, is destroying the NBA. The feel of the finals being intense as it is, it doesn't feel the same. It just feels like a regular game. The intensity isn't there. You know, players way into the playoffs to play hard. When you have people like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, they understood their job and they executed and put it on the line and took it out and left it on the court every game. Gave it all they got, man.
Too many people forget to give these two the credit that they deserve. This is why I wanted to take some time out today and dive into how these guys turn the league on its head. Now, I know most of you have a big question on your minds. Did they have that big of an impact? If I'm being honest, yes. They did affect the whole game that much.
If you have to ask that question, that is most definitely out of ignorance.
See, basketball's a spectacle. And sure, people love to watch the occasional game or two. But until these two came along, there wasn't any drama in the league. The only thing that mattered was making it to the playoffs and hoping to win that year's championship. Now, that sort of thing is fun the first few times. However, it gets old pretty quick. When Magic and Bird came along, they brought a ton of drama with them. Suddenly winning a championship wasn't the only thing that mattered anymore. Beating your rival was the top priority. I mean, the animosity between those two on the court makes even calling them rivals an understatement. Now people had a whole new reason to watch basketball, a reason that transcended sports as a whole.
And it's not even that it was real animosity. It was just two greats, iron sharpened iron. And every single night, they kept an edge. They wasn't trying to befriend nobody. They wasn't trying to kiss no butt. They wanted to go out and put it on the line every single chance they got and give it all they got on the floor and left it on the floor. You know what I'm saying? All the narratives of, you know, Larry Bird, they call him a white Jesus, and they tried to make race wars and all that. For example, Larry Bird with Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas made that remark, which I feel like was unnecessary for what? That if Larry Bird was a black guy, he wouldn't. It would be just like any other black guy. But regardless, the success, the skill set, his IQ speaks for itself, right? So at the end of the day, I liked how Magic Johnson didn't entertain all that. He was like, look, I tried to dap him up, give him a high five, handshake, meet him, introduce myself. He looked at me. I got that, okay, I don't like you neither. I give you the energy you give me, but we going to give it on the floor every single night. And they were just two greats competing in the sports of basketball. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
very drama that allowed the NBA to grow bigger than ever before. You don't just have to take my word for it. A certain NBA legend seems to share my opinion. I'm talking about none other than Charles Barkley. In a new episode of the hit podcast All the Smoke, Barkley talked about how fond he was of the iconic duo and everything they had done for the game.
Magic and Bird, those guys changed the entire trajectory of the NBA and made it what it is today.
Barkley is nothing short of a gem when it comes to the game of basketball. He was around during a period when some of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball played. He was around to witness the different ways in which the league has changed over the years. The biggest change he's witnessed, in his opinion, is how much the average basketball player could get paid.
David Stern's first year, the average salary was $200,000.
According to Barkley, before the impact that Magic and Bird had happened, you couldn't hope for much as a basketball player. However, after these two set foot in the league, the whole system changed up.
Look at them trick passes Magic Johnson be doing, bro.
Suddenly, basketball players earned more
My man sure he didn't play part in the Globetrotters. My man doing Globetrotter type of stuff, bro. Like a trickster magician. I never really seen Magic Johnson flashy passes like that. No, my man had some handles, though. I'll tell you that. Get some layups in real quick.
than most musicians or actors. They were suddenly more famous, too. You have to admit, it takes something special to change up the whole world like that. I'm glad that Johnson and Larry had the impact that they did. It honestly changed the game for the better. Now, you're probably wondering what they did to change the game. Well, they made basketball exciting again.
It wasn't just excitement. They brought value. They brought a service, which is their skill set and their job of playing basketball and putting on the line and winning games. But also their skill set made it exciting due to the simple fact that the curiosity is always sparked every time they got on the floor. So then that, as a viewer, just automatically makes a viewer excited because they're like, what's going to happen next? It's that excitement of wondering what is going to happen next. And it leaves them mind blown because there's so many different possibilities to the point where they just sit there like this. Dang, man. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, what they going to do? You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, I feel like the game could be so much more predictable now. In today's era, it's quite predicting of the outcome, you know. And that value of excitement brought new viewers to the NBA, which made them change the trajectory of the NBA, which made the NBA in turn more worth watching as they brought that value to the forefront for viewers to be excited. Because you know every single night, players played hard, they put it on the floor, and you can feel the energy when players are just going in, like war for war. Like, you don't know what's the outcome going to be, but you just engulfed in the eyes real big, like you hypnotized. You know what I'm saying?
These two stepped onto the court during a time when racial tensions in America were high.
True.
People were homeless, had no jobs, and didn't know what to do. Issues in terms of segregation, rallies, and marches were common. The NBA at this point was mostly all African Americans with a select few white folks playing on the court. Thanks to racial tensions, most white people at that time refused to support a sports league dominated by African American athletes. However, when Johnson and Bird came into the scene, they
changed the
managed to
whole
bridge
thing.
a gap between them and help the world calm down and just watch in amazement.
Yeah, and bring to the forefront unity. They were leaders, not just on the court, but off the court, bro. They didn't entertain any of that dramatic stuff. The drama was already taking place by the tension outside of basketball. They just was the leaders to redirect the attention, let alone the narrative, and defeat the narratives by not saying nothing, by just playing the game of basketball. and silence just being magnificent. 1,000 words being said without saying nothing but straight execution. You gotta give a moment of silence for that, bro. And they don't respect pioneers of the game nowadays. People that came before. Look at J.J. Redick, his ignorance. Oh, they paid against plumber and firemen. What, bro? But what have you done to impact the game as this big? Cracks me up, man.
They helped set a new standard in the sport. When these two were on the court, there wasn't much the other players could do but hope that either player's rival managed to outdo them at their own game. Such was their dominance in the league that they would often render opposing defenders useless, as they drained bucket after bucket. The best part was that these two represented the majority of American citizens at the time. They were a part of the American working class, struggling to make ends meet. Now, I know there's another big question on everybody's minds. How did these two hicks from the wrong side of town suddenly make every basketball fan around the world light up with excitement? Well, as I mentioned before, these two possessed skills like no other. That and the fact that whenever their teams played each other in the NBA Finals, it was arguably the biggest game of the season. I'm talking about people who weren't even fans of the teams. Seriously. They'd come just to see Johnson go up against Bird and witnessed who managed to come out on top that year. These two would draw millions to their TV screens whenever their games came on, and hundreds of thousands would attend their games live too. Before these two joined the league, it was a known fact that the NBA was slowly sinking to the bottom of the sports ocean. Somehow, these two threw the NBA a lifeboat.
Okay, I got a quick question, family. I know it's a little bit off topic, but I'll bring it back, trust me. They all come together. They all correlate and connect. Do you feel like Adam Silver is doing a better job than David Stern back then? I feel like David Stern advocated the unity, heard the players, and then they came together with a unified trajectory and changing the trajectory. But I feel like David Stern was more, there was a medium with him. You know, he heard the players, but he also heard the viewers. And I feel like he kept that excitement that the viewers craved, let alone held the players accountable to execute their job. And now I feel like the little details of the excitement of the finals, the playoffs, is gone. The little details on the court, you know, feeling that finals atmosphere, it's not the same. Arenas filled, you know, individuals standing up, not knowing what's going to happen. I don't feel like it's there, man. I feel like it died. Comment down below how you feel. You know, do you feel like that excitement from Larry Bird and Magic Johnson still sustains to this day in regards of the players after them carrying that excitement still in today's NBA? I don't feel like it. I feel like the players after them failed it. Of course, Michael Jordan did great. LeBron held his excitement at a point. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, but and I feel like it's centered around one player just from a dramatic standpoint to keep being talked about in the media. ESPN, it's starting to be more ESPN basketball than actual basketball players. Actually, the excitement of basketball players. It's starting to be more drama fulfilled than actually leading a trajectory to be exciting basketball or exciting basketball in regards of it having excitement like it did in Magic and Larry Bird time. I feel like the media overtook the NBA now. Rather than back then, the NBA overtook the media with David Stern and Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson. Comment down below how you feel. I'm curious.
And help them sail into a better future. The best part is, these two were national sensations from their college days.
Yes,
this was a time when
indeed.
such a thing was unheard of. The basketball game where Michigan State faced off against Indiana in the NCAA championship final remains the highest-rated college-level game of all time. With everything that's been set up until now, there's probably...
Comment down below. Did Caitlin Clark beat as the highest college game ever now in today's era? I believe so. Comment down below. Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. Is the viewership in college surpassing Larry Bird and Magic Johnson? Sorry.
Last thing you
Magic
want to be
George.
answered. Will there ever be a duo as iconic as them ever again?
I don't believe
If
so.
I'm being honest, I don't think it's very likely that we'll ever see a duo
No.
so dominant and iconic as Bird and Johnson ever again.
I feel like LeBron started this super team eras. So now everybody want a super team. The big three. You know what I'm saying? These was the big two against each other as rivals. Very rare to occur again.
Who had some of the biggest impacts on the game ever seen in the sport. They paved the way for basketball stars to become what they are today. There's just no denying the fact that if these two hadn't been a part of basketball history, the NBA would probably not exist anymore. Without these guys, the league would go down under a long time ago. So honestly, we should be glad that we were lucky enough to witness a time when two of the greatest basketball players to have ever touched.
I'm grateful to witness it now. I wasn't born then. But I don't know how some of these individuals, viewers, can sit back and not be curious in a game of basketball and be like, who was impactful before these people got on the floor today? And that's where the conversation sparks. To pour value in each other and really understand the game of basketball and a true fan base, man.
An
Know what
NBA
I'm saying?
court played. There have been
Bandwagons
many
everywhere.
players who have gone on to become extremely influential in the game of basketball. However, none have had an impact as big as these two. The fact that they came from such humble backgrounds and managed to blossom into something so awesome is just insane.
It is.
Even after he's retired, Magic Johnson continues to spread positivity and love.
Clap 3 times. All right, that's how we do it around here, okay? Also, let's thank all the coaches. Let's do it.
The man has numerous charities in his name and continues to ensure that everybody has a smile on their face. The iconic trash talk that these two would spew at each other during games will forever be etched into basketball legend. I think it's safe to say that these two managed to do the impossible, and we can't thank them enough for it. That was everything about the impact that Magic Johnson and Larry...
Yeah, you gotta thank him, man. Patience, persistence, positivity from both of these legendary individuals. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Continue to spread that peace, love, and positivity. Let the love supersede the hate. And until next time, family, peace.